of Athens in the Department of Philosophy and History of Science, but I teach general philosophy and moral philosophy more particularly. And I'm involved in the teaching of philosophy in high schools in Greece because I was one of the authors of the high school textbook that we use in Greece in the second class of Lyceon, which is 2 years before graduating from high school for 16-year-old kids. But independently, I'm also interested in how to teach philosophy through cinema. And this is how this presentation connects to teaching philosophy in general. And what I'm going to say may help you use films, not only Woody Allen and this particular film, but also get ideas for other films. I'll mention some. And what I'm going to say is that although we have a limited amount of time today and the other days, I'll be available to you. I'm going to be here for the whole week. So if some of you want to talk more and have questions, you can reach me and we can make an appointment and have some more conversation. And I can also give you my email address and you can reach me for bibliography, ideas, instruction, whatever. Okay? So don't be shy. Feel free to continue this collaboration and communication. And I'm going to say various things. If I go fast, or if I use words and expressions and names that are totally unfamiliar or difficult to understand or mysterious or whatever, stop me, protest, and say, boo. I suppose you encourage them to protest if something is incomprehensible. Is that correct?
You have to be able to repeat what you say, and if you don't understand, someone had to help you to clarify.
Clarify. Just don't say, please clarify about what you just said. Slow down. Repeat. I have this problem, and sometimes I forget and I go fast. Or also another mistake I make is I open parentheses. And when I forget to close, I say, I remember something, a joke or something I start, and then I forget to close that, and so you lose the thread. Okay, so please correct me. So here I'm going to follow this PowerPoint. It's not very long. I'm just going to show some of the slides and stop and talk a little bit for different topics, explain different topics, and ask you also what you think and what you want to say on these topics. And then, I mean, our aim would be just talk about these general things for about an hour, less than an hour, and then get into the particular film and see how we can use this particular film and see what the philosophical problem or problems that come out of the film are, so that you can use them later on when you teach. I mean, this film is not for elementary school, I suppose, but it can be used very well in high school. I mean, it's very well done, and it has a complexity that makes it good as teaching material. And there is bibliography already. I have some bibliography later, and I have more that I can give you, and you can look up.
And I put this PowerPoint on fronter too, so you can have it. You don't have to write.
You don't have to write down what it is. Yes, please.
What is the bibliography?
Bibliography is names of books and articles that you may look up later and read more. For instance, here I have a copy which I may leave with Boo, and you can make copy of 2 articles, at least 2 articles on the film, on the particular film. This is from a book, Woody Allen and Philosophy, and it has articles on different movies, not only this one, but there are at least 2 on this one. Okay? And unfortunately, there isn't one on the more recent films like Match Point, which is also an important film. We can say a few things about Match Point later. Okay, so first of all, I play with these words: philosophy of film, philosophy and film, philosophy through film. Okay, so philosophy of film. When you philosophize, you think philosophically, you just wonder about the cinema and film. And you may say, I want to study film as an art. Say what is peculiar about film as an art if you teach film theory, if you are in a cinema school or university department where they teach film. That's one thing you may do. We are not going to be doing this, but I just wanted you to know that this field exists and you may find it later if you are interested in film independently of philosophy as such. So the study of film as art, its peculiar features, what makes film so peculiar. It's not theater, it's a little like theater, it's like moving images. What do we mean? Why is this important? How does it affect us? Why, when you watch a film, it's much more effective than when you read a novel or when you go to a theater play, which is great and has some advantages, but the film has its own advantages. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you want to talk about any of these topics, we can do that later. That's not my central topic, which is the particular film by Woody Allen and philosophical issues, but we can talk about that. Yes, Marlies?
What is peculiar?
What does peculiar mean? Be strange, particular, specific. I don't know, do you have any other explanation? Well, peculiar, it's
very special.
It's very special. What is special about film? Okay. So yeah, if you don't know a word, please ask. Okay. This is a word that will cause trouble, I suppose, since that's why I told Beata today is more advanced than Wednesday, because on Wednesday I'm going to explain this word. Okay. Well, ontology, this comes from a Greek word, on, which means being, the kind of being, the nature of film. What is film? Film is celluloid, film is a picture which moves, film, what does it consist of? What is it made of? What is a film made of? Now you may say, why do we need that? We need that because we don't want to understand. When you say the ontology of painting, the ontology of painting is a canvas, colors, lines, or whatever. The ontology of film is this particular plastic celluloid that you make move, and it shows pictures running the one after the other. So we are not going to, these things we are not going to deal with today. I'm just mentioning them. And later, if you want, we can discuss them, but not this. If this were a cinema department, a cinema department, we would be talking about this. But I wanted to get them out of there.
So you talk about this on Wednesday and Thursday?
Yeah, on Wednesday and Thursday I will explain this, well, this may be a moral, of course, moral. On Wednesday and Thursday I will just give you some branches, fields of philosophy, and say in philosophy we have ontology, epistemology, aesthetics, moral and political philosophy. But here, what I'm saying is that when you watch a film or you study films, you want to become a filmmaker. You want to become a director. Maybe when you go to a cinema school, you learn a little of this. Now, they are not philosophers and directors, but some of them have studied philosophy. I think Woody Allen himself had taken some philosophy classes. Yes, but more general, more general. Or epistemology, you want to know. This has to do with knowledge. This comes from a Greek word, episteme, which means knowledge and science. So you want to know, what do you know through film? What kind of knowledge do you get through film? And why is film special? I mean, in giving you some kind of knowledge. Maybe, I'm just making a suggestion. With the film, you put yourself in the position of the heroes. You identify with the heroes. You feel you become one. You say, what if I were like the guy Judah in the film? You put yourself in the position of Judah. And maybe that's good, but maybe it's also dangerous, because you think that you are in the position of that guy and you follow his reasoning without criticizing. You need to criticize, always be critical, think critically, okay? Okay. Is this understandable what I'm saying? So when you study philosophy of film, you want to know